There's a lot of lessons that you can learn from the gym, you know. People don't understand warming up and prep. Like prepping for training is different to warming up. Like warming up, I'm just getting my body warm. But once I'm done on here, I'll go in there and I'll start preparing my body, getting it ready, activation, shit like that. So that when I go out onto the gym floor, everything's switched on. People just come into the gym and go bang, training straight away. And I'm like, but I've never done it because I grew up, I was in a football academy at 15. That's not how it works. You get taught how to warm up, how to prepare, how to go into a full drill. You don't just turn up for training and go into a full drill. You can't do it because you get injured. When it comes to building muscle, it really is just about contractions. And in running, even you in running, you're teaching your body how to contract properly, to contract fast, to generate the power quickly. That's repetition, but you never get that contraction. Or you might get a little bit of one, but you never get a full one if your body is not primed to do that. And I think that's a big piece of the puzzle that people don't really understand, that is missing for a lot of people. If you just go out into the gym and just do this, it's great, you're doing something. But if the objective is to actually grow the muscle, you've got to warm it up. It has to be, the bicep has to be switched on to actually contract. It's not just gonna start contracting how you want it to grow muscle. I just think that's like such a lost part of training now. Is people are just focused on the numbers and looking good when they come to the gym. And you know, it's like, you've got to warm up, you've got to get your heart rate up, especially in the winter. In the summer, you ain't got to worry so much because you're hot. It's hot, so you don't have to get your heart rate up because you're sweating. But when it's cold, like, you can't just be static, low heart rate into bang, squatting 3 plates from nowhere. Like, you just can't. If you want, I mean, you can do it. I'm not saying you can't do it, you can do it, of course you can. But if what you're trying to get out of it is the right intensity and the right amount, you know, I always compare humans to cars. If you had a Ferrari on a cold winter morning, if it's been sat overnight in the freezing cold and then you turn it on first thing in the morning and try to drive it 100 miles an hour, the car's gonna struggle. Like, it takes a while for the car engine to warm up and everything to work before it can work optimally. Yes, you can do it. Yes, you could take a car out and drive it 100 miles an hour straight away, but it wouldn't be as optimal, or it wouldn't work as well if you let it warm up for 10 minutes, then did it. Then it would work a lot better. It would feel a lot smoother. You'd get more out of it. It's the same with training. And I think that's such a missed, because of the way social media is now, because it's all just so focused on how things look, how things sound, how pretty things are. The biggest part of all of it is actually making sure that your body is prepared to do what you want it to do. And I just don't think enough people understand that. Because it's the time, isn't it? I'm gonna spend 10 minutes on here, warming up. I'm gonna go in there for 15 minutes, activate, mobilize. I'm gonna come out here, get my adductors warm, get my quads and my hamstrings warm before I even go into the gym floor. So my body's ready. And it's the readiness that allows your body to contract and train the way that you want it to, which allows the growth to happen. So if you bypass that whole first part, really, you're just in 6th gear, stuck in the mud with your foot in the accelerator. Like, it feels like you're going fast, but you're not going anywhere. And then you compile that over years and years and years, and then you see the people that started training, and just because they were new to training and new to the stimulus, their body changed, so they get the results, but then 5 years goes by, 10 years goes by, they're still trying to change. And they can't understand that the reason why they went from here to here was purely nothing other than new gains. Their body wasn't used to it. But now their body's got used to it, they don't know how to change it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, if you think about you, every time you have a great session, do something well, your coach will test you. You have to be pushed if you want to be faster. You've got to do things more explosive. You've got to be more on point. You've got to be more focused. You can't do what got you to a certain point and think that what got you there is going to get you there.
That's true, yeah.
It's just not going to happen. And for a lot of people, it might just be something like focusing, spending more time on preparing your body to train. Because the first thing that most people think is, I've got to lift heavier. I've got to do more. I've got to come to the gym more. I've got to rest less. But it's like, no. You might just have to incorporate 15 or 20 minutes of warm up and activation before you go out to the gym floor. That might be the difference between you not lifting that 5 kilos heavier and lifting that 5 kilos heavier. Lifting that 5 kilos heavier simply came from the 15 minutes before you started training because your body was ready to train. But people don't think like that. People just don't think like that. They just think that as soon as they walk in the gym, they've got to go in the gym. But then you've got to remember, I come from an athletic background. I was taught this young. And again, that's why, you know, the talk with the kids and that's what it's about. Because if you don't get that information early, you never know. And you don't know, exactly, you don't know what you don't know. And then, you know, people start trying to piece it together, getting information from here, information from there, and then it's just a shit show. And the other thing as well is just learning how to be in tune with your body. I was watching something on TV the other day. Have you ever watched 24 Hours in A&E? It's quite sad. It's quite extreme, but there was this young guy, I think he was 40, and he was eating one day, and he was getting this pain in his chest. And he couldn't figure out what the pain was. Ignored it. And then like a year later, 2 years later, he was eating his dinner one day, like couldn't swallow. And he was like, what the fuck's this? Went to the doctors, they're like, yeah, you've got cancer in your esophagus. And he was like, I didn't, you know, I'm 40, I'm young, you know, when you get diagnosed with something like this young, it's, you know, and I was like, I get it, it's unfortunate. But what it made me think was, if you were in tune with your body, if you knew what felt good and what felt wrong, you would have been able to identify that quick. You know, I know if something's off with my body, I know. If I'm eating and I'm getting a really sharp shooting pain somewhere in my stomach, and it's going on, and it's going on, and it's going on, I know something's not right. And I guess it's unfortunate, but it just made me think, like, if more people were actually in tune with their own bodies and knew what worked for them, rather than copying everybody else, they'd understand if something wasn't right. And the quicker you can understand if something's right, the easier you can make the correction to correct it. Because there's a lot of lessons that you can learn from the gym, you know, just by training, that you can apply to life. Discipline, sacrifice, motivation, you know? And I get it, like, not everybody has the ability to come and train however long they want. So I get it, most people don't, they have an hour to train. They don't want to spend 20 minutes warming up. But what I try to explain to people is, it's the quality of the work, not the quantity of the work. So if you warm up for 20 minutes, and then with the extra 40 minutes, train at a really high level, that's all you need. But you say that to somebody, and they're like, nah, I can't train for 40 minutes. But it's the warm-up that allows the session to happen at the level it needs to happen. And that's what people don't understand. I'm telling you now, as you get older, you know how people say it all the time, as you get older, you feel it in your body. You do. So you'll see I'll spend more time out here warming up than I will actually doing a session.